Cautionary Tale.
19 Nocturne Boulevard.
Nocturne Boulevard? Not far. When you hit Howard, hang a right. Howard meets Phillip at a weird kind of angle. Then you cross James and Poe. You can't miss Nocturne. It's just past the automat.
19 Nocturne Boulevard. Your address for suspenseful stories of the speculative, strange, and supernatural. Tonight's story is Cautionary Tale.
Yes? This is 19 Nocturne Boulevard. Won't you step inside? Did you have any trouble finding it? What do you mean, what kind of a place is it? Why, it's a new town in an old time. Can't you tell?
Once upon a time, in a new town, there were folk from an old country. Old folks with old stories.
Don't have your old stories, Nana. We wanted the children to sleep quietly tonight.
Oh, Mother.
No back a talk. Finish the sweeping, Yulia.
You, my own daughter. Children need to know what lies beyond their doorstep.
Your stories only tell of evil and cruelty. My whole childhood was spent in mortal fear.
And yet, here you are now. For the forest was full of beasts. Not great beasts like the tiger who could eat her up in a single bite, but small animals, each and every one of which would take a small and vicious nibble.
Yulia! Yoo-hoo! Yulia! Yulia! It smells like cabbage. Cabbage and tallow.
And she remembered what her Nana said to her. If she kept her eyes on the path in front of her, she would never get lost.
Hey, Yulia! There's normal people talking to you.
I have to get home.
Want us to walk you home, Yulia? You need someone to protect you, Yulia?
I know my way home.
She doesn't know. She's too dumb to read. Maybe the killer doesn't like imbeciles.
Killer?
Oh, look! She can raise her head. I thought you were a little old lady the way you're always all hunched over.
I have to go.
Not afraid of the killer then? He likes little kids, little girls. He cuts them into tiny pieces.
Yulia! Yulia!
You tell, we kill you. Yeah.
Just stupid boys, Papa.
The king's word was law, and everyone obeyed. Even those who felt he was being unjust in his decision to take away their land and livelihood.
You have no business talking to boys, Yulia.
I do not speak to them. They speak to me. But I stay quiet and say nothing. But they do not stop or let me pass. What should I do? Strike them? Run? What?
You do not talk back to me.
Yes, Papa.
When they speak to you, you should walk away.
Yes, Papa.
Do you know why I came to fetch you today?
No, Papa.
A girl was killed today. They do not know who did it, so you must stay in the house from now on. Do not go out except with Mama, Ludie, or myself. You can help Ludie look after the babies.
But school...
Not until the killer is stopped. You can have a book to practice with. Life is more important than learning.
It was so much for one girl, one mind to remember, to keep her safe on her journey. She had tried to write some of it down, but the ink had run with her tears, and every word looked like nothing but a sob.
You needed something, Nana?
Yulia, dearest child, I must tell you something.
Yes?
I saw the house of bones, child.
The house of bones?
The house of bones of Grandmother Teeth. I saw it.
Today? But you did not leave the house.
Eyes are not the only way to see it, my dear. And today is not the only day there is.
What else is there?
There is the eye of dreams, and also the eye of memory. And today I saw the house in both these eyes. In my dreams, I revisited the memory of when I saw it many years ago.
But what does it mean?
It may mean many things. It may mean I will soon go into Grandmother Teeth's ovens. Or she may be here to look kindly upon someone. She is fickle as the summer lightning. Snip, snip went her little silver scissors, and it came away much shorter, much to the fury of the little man. He screamed that they had ruined his looks, even when they tried to calm him down and say it would grow back.
Don't you dare tell Papa.
Of course not. He would beat you.
Might so, might not. But he would sure do something.
He struck me for not getting away when the boys would talk to me at school.
I am not talking to boys. I'm trying to make a match. Then I shall have a house of me own. No more Mama, no more Papa.
Until they come to stay like Nana.
Well, it will still be my house. I will be the lady.
Good day to you, ladies.
Oh, a good day to you also.
How could you?
Be wicked or be rude. Such a choice. Oh,
What?
that fine fella. He dropped his sunshade. I shall take it too.
No, that would be...
'Tis a good neighbour who helps.
But what should
Stay
I...
right here. Don't you move. There's no killers out in the daylight. I shall return instantly.
Very well.
Little girl, can you help me? Why not? It's not such a terrible thing. My cat has gotten lost. And I know how good girls are at finding small, fluffy kittens. And see? There's a smile.
I can't. My sister will be right back.
Perhaps your sister can help as well. What's her name? I can find her for you.
Our father will be watching for us.
If I see him, shall I tell him what a good girl you are? What's your name?
Who do you think you are? Why are you bothering my sister?
So sorry to disturb you, lovely lady. I thought the child looked lost. But she assured me she was being looked after.
I'm certain sure she is. Come along, Yulia.
Yulia.
From the front, he will look like a fine gentleman with a white collar and a golden watch chain. But you must get to his southern side, the side he will never turn to you. That side, the side that lay on the damp ground in his grave, is rotted and eaten away by maggots.
The police are no help.
Of course not, if we do not tell them everything.
What would you tell them? They want this monster to be one of us, someone easy to blame, someone they can shoot down like a dog and dance on his corpse.
What about your own children? Are you not afraid for them?
I can look after my own. I keep them at home.
Easy for you with girls. I have 3 boys, and they do not like to be inside. And they do not believe they can be in danger.
Children cannot see the shadow of death, even when it crosses their own faces.
She traveled for many days and many nights, through cold and storm, through heat and flood, only to find herself on her own doorstep. And there it was, the object of her search, hunkered down behind her own house like a dark buzzard ready to pounce on a stoat.
Nana, some porridge for you. I put some berries on top. I know you like that.
Thank you. There are so few pleasures in a life this long. You are so kind.
Nana, where did you see the House of Bones and what did it look like?
Why?
Please tell me.
The location is not important, for you know Grandmother Teeth can be in any place with bad children to devour.
Uh-huh.
Her house is made of the piled up bones of all those she has eaten. Not white and clean like bones should be, but dark grey with the char from her fiery oven.
How can it be every place?
Grandmother's house is like a fish that swims in the water. You only see it when it pops its head above the surface. Wherever Grandmother Teeth wishes to go, the house comes up from the ground, leaving not even a ripple.
But Grandmother Teeth is wise as well as wicked, isn't she?
She can tell you anything there is to know, but the knowledge will always come with a terrible price. What could be so important that you might consider asking Grandmother Teeth before asking your own Nana?
I heard Papa talking with some men. They were talking of dead children, murdered and bloody. I think I wonder if Grandmother Teeth is... perhaps...
No.
But Nana, how could you know?
If Grandmother Teeth killed them, there would be no bodies at all. As he approached his home, his eyes straining into the coming dawn for the sight of his favorite hound, he was mortified to see instead his own child, grown into a sturdy youth, come and call to him, "Papa!"
Yulia, come away from the window and help me clean the dishes.
Please, Mama. There will be light to read only for a few more...
What?
Oh, Mama, the window was open and Khote was gone.
No. Oh, God, please, no.
Gone?
For while some monsters prefer the taste of doe meat and others prefer buck, this monster was the worst sort of all, and the meat he loved the most was that of the tiniest babies, round and plump and toothsome.
Tem was just sitting there crying at the open window and the darkening sky. Perhaps he meant to return and take her as well.
You may have the right of it, child.
Could it be Uncle Knife?
No, child, no. Cruel as he is, Uncle Knife is a hunter, not a butcher. A child barely able to walk is not fit prey for one such as he. More likely he would hunt a tree, for a tree would at least take some killing. No, it is not Uncle Knife.
An ogre? A night walker?
It might well be, my poor child.
How do you stop such as they?
That is something for your father to do. The killing of monsters is not the lot of young ladies like yourself.
But Papa doesn't believe as I do. You know I hear the stories in my heart and faithfully do what they say.
My dear sweet granddaughter, the tales always tell us boys may win battles and grind evil beneath their feet, but women must merely endure. We have the much harder task. But the wicked goblin transformed itself into a flea and got into her horse's ear, making it fractious and unwilling to heed the reins. And when she dismounted, the goblin became a bee that buzzed and drove her in the direction of its cave. So though she never knew it, evil guided her every step.
Yulia?
Yes, Papa?
Get your rat. I will take you to market.
But... Ludie?
She and your mother are afraid to take their eyes from Tim, and neither will leave the house. It is much the same with the families all up and down the block.
Yes, Papa.
Yulia!
Yes, Papa?
You stray no further from me than my arm can reach. Do you understand?
Yes, Papa.
But even a monster with 100 eyes must blink from time to time. And she watched and she waited, and when the sentry's eyes were off her for but a moment...
I told Papa I wanted to stop and remove a stone from my shoe, but I really just wanted to look at it.
Truly? The House of Bones?
At first glance, I was certain. It was exactly what I should have expected. But when I looked more closely, I realized it was a tumbled tree. White branches tilted hither and thither, mocking the shape of a hut.
Was that all?
All?
Tell me what else you saw.
How can you know?
Tell me.
It was nothing. Inside the brush, I saw a glint. Just light reflecting off...
No, it was the house.
How can you know?
You think it cannot hide itself? You think it cannot pass unnoticed? How else could Grandmother Teeth hide her dwelling among our own very houses?
But the light?
That is her fiery oven. Nothing can ever completely mask that terrible furnace.
Oh.
My dear girl, do not lightly try to approach such as Grandmother.
How did you know?
You are a clever girl and a caring girl, and I think you cannot let these atrocities continue any more than I could, were I still young and green as a sapling.
I would never attempt this without consulting you first, Nana. Only you can tell me what to do.
True, but whatever you do, it must not be tonight. The moon is yet too full, and the hearthlight can be damped. In the dark of the moon, it is easier to find the center of her home.
But it was right there. I could see it from where I stood.
No, child. If and when you cross the threshold of that most infamous house, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. For the fox had grown bold in his triumphs, and while the hens stared out at the farmer, they lost their very tail feathers to the beast that walked among them.
I need to speak with someone. You stay here where I can watch you.
Yes, Papa.
Your foot is nailed to the ground. Do you hear me?
Yes, Papa.
Yulia?
Stay away. My father will hurt you.
Your father will never see me here between these buildings.
Careful. The men will take you for the killer of children.
Me? Do I look like such a killer? So fierce?
He's a weasel stealing eggs in a hen house, not a wolf.
A what?
A killer of children would not be a great warrior, but a coward.
You know so much, child. Perhaps the killer will come for you.
Yulia, come!
Not while my papa's fist is above my head.
She knew the only things that would protect her in the lair of the ferocious beast were her courage and her faith. For as long as she did not fear him, he could not smell her, and as long as she kept her heart pure, he could not tempt her.
I am going, Nana.
I know, child. I have known since that night of the full moon, and I have some things for you to take with you.
I cannot tell Mama or Papa or even Ludie. They would never believe what I have seen, and they would never let me chance this.
Do you remember the tales I have taught you?
It is possible to get grandmother to answer a question, any question, by cleaning her house.
Have you thought of such a question?
My question is simple. It must be, who is the killer?
She may give you that. And what can you do with this knowledge?
Tell Papa.
And he will believe you? When he asks you who you spoke to find this out?
Oh.
She may also be convinced to do something for you.
How? What?
What do you wish most would happen?
I want the killer dead. And known to be dead, so that people can sleep at night knowing their children are safe again.
Oh, that is a tall order. For though Grandmother Teeth loves to kill, she does not take kindly to being told what to do.
This is so very hard.
That is why the stories are important. They tell us what deals our ancestors wove with these wild spirits and what sort of outcome it may bring.
Help me.
Of course, dear. We will work it out between us, and then you may leave through my little window here. The night was dark as the inside of a pocket, and silent as a jar of secrets, as Yulia the Brave crept quietly and carefully up to the little hut of bones. Even as she got closer, what had looked like the branches of a downed tree became the bones of the dead. Great bones and small bones, round skulls and scatterings of tiny fingers.
I must ask for shelter, for she cannot hurt a guest unless you disdain her hospitality.
Eh? Is there someone there? Perhaps a little rat gnawing at my house.
Old Mother, may I have shelter for the night?
No, I have no room for beggars. Go away.
3 times. 3 times. Please, Old Mother, it is so dark out here and cold.
It is quite a warm night and you have 2 good feet. Get walking before I decide to wear your good little feet for ear cups.
Please, kind and good Old Mother, there are wolves afoot and I am afraid.
Come in then. You must make your own way to my house, for I am much too old to go traipsing around just to let beggars into my kitchen. Mind, you don't get lost. There are wicked things afoot in here as well as out there. Worse even. There is a lantern there to light your way.
But Yulia knew this trick. She knew the lantern would cast too much light and she would never be able to see the flame on the hearth. So she quickly blew out the candle within and carried the dead lantern with her as she traced the many winding paths to the center of the hut.
Took you long enough, girl. Are you a clubfoot?
No, good mother. I opened the lantern by mistake, and it was blown out.
Well, count yourself lucky to not have something terrible grab you in the dark.
Oh, yes, old mother. I know how lucky I am to be here.
Good. Sit. Share my stew. There is just enough for two.
That would be a great pleasure. It smells most tasty.
She knew not what sort of meat might be in the stew, or what other malefic seasonings, but she was certain that to refuse any part of the hag's hospitality could throw Grandmother Teeth into a sudden and murderous rage.
Now, do you take me for a fool?
What? Never, old mother.
And you know who I am, do you not?
I do.
Good. I do not relish the taste of liars.
With no amount of garlic?
You're very sassy for a girl in your position.
If I amuse you, you might not kill me.
At least you are humble enough to know I probably still will.
Since you know you, you must also know that I didn't happen in here by accident.
Must I?
Of course. No one ever said that Grandmother Teeth was any less clever than the cleverest man there ever was.
Go on.
In fact, everyone says that Grandmother Teeth knows so many things that everyday people do not.
And you need some tiny particle of knowledge that none but I can possibly hold?
As they say, you are clever.
For even the wisest and oldest spirit of mischief, one who cannot be moved by 10 horses or toppled by the strongest bear, is still weak in one place, and one place alone: vanity. Where insults and blows may fall away unheeded, the right sort of flattery might open every gate.
What else do they say, child?
They say that you will not part with such information for any less than the most profitable trades.
They say true.
And that you are the shrewdest haggler in the land, shrewder even than the shrewdest rug merchant in the busiest bazaar in the largest seaport in the land.
In the world.
Oh.
And you have come to trade me for some small scrap of information?
Yes. If I have any poor thing you might accept.
Everyone has something to trade. What is it you seek? If you are merely trying to find a husband, I will warn you now. The cost is far too high.
Nothing so trivial. Though what I want is something of no importance to you.
Speak plainly, girl.
There is a man killing children. I want him dead.
And what makes you think this man is not a cohort of mine?
The bodies were found torn but whole. If he was your friend, he would share them with you, old mother.
Either you are wise beyond your years, or someone wiser speaks through you.
My mother's mother is a wise, wise woman.
And did she tell you what you would have to give me for this that you seek?
I have heard many tales, but my life is not important in the face of so many deaths. I only ask that if I must die for this answer, that I be allowed to take his name to someone before I perish.
You're brave, girl. I'll grant you that. Right, too. Maybe you should stay here and be my granddaughter. instead.
I am hardly worthy.
Don't dare to question my judgment of who is worthy and who is not. If I say you could be my child, then you should feel honored.
Yes, old mother.
We could go anywhere, see anything, eat anything we want. You would order magical servants and never have to work a hard day again.
Old mother, I am so tempted, but I must hold to my purpose. My own baby brother was taken by this fiend, and I cannot let go. I must have vengeance.
Ah, there is the one good reason to refuse my hospitality.
Perhaps after he has been stopped.
I will have already moved along. Alone.
For where Grandmother Teeth was plagued with such emotions as greed and gluttony, there was only one emotion she could allow and understand in others, and that was rage.
I demand 3 things in return for his destruction.
Anything.
Anything?
Anything.
Then I will take your youth, your beauty, and your life.
But how will I stop him if I am dead?
You give me tokens of these, and I will collect only when the mood strikes me. Someday, you will wake up and find some part of you is gone, and know who has taken it.
Yes, I agree.
Good. For your youth, I want a tooth. A little baby tooth from you. I know you carry them in that little pouch, like all frightened children do.
Yes, old mother. Here.
And for your beauty, a lock of your shining dark hair. You may use my knife.
Thank you, but I have my own.
What the witch could not know, was that earlier Yulia's clever Nana, knowing what the hag would demand, had given to the child the tokens the witch would ask for. A lock of her own hair, a baby tooth of her own, and 3 drops of her own blood, all saved since her own distant youth to fool the old woman.
And for your life?
The tales say 3 drops of blood.
Take my handkerchief, child.
I have one of my own.
Take mine.
Thank you, Grandmother.
Good. Now that I am paid, you will have your goods.
And soon. Please, good Grandmother.
But, child, the sooner I give him to you, the sooner I might collect.
No more children should die.
Turning her back to the light of the hearth, she followed her own shadow through the many twists and turns of the hut until she found herself once more back in the normal world.
Now I know.
But the poor girl did not realize is that Grandmother Teeth was not one to have patience, and she took the lock of hair and tossed it on the fire to collect on the debt of beauty.
What? Nothing?
For there is not much beauty to be taken from one as old as I.
No!
And the tooth followed, suck the marrow, the dribs and drabs of youth left in this old carcass.
Alone? Afraid?
You startled me. Did you not hear that scream?
Perhaps it was the killer. I should see you home. It's much too late at night for a pretty young lady to be out.
Furious or not, Grandmother Teeth had still made her bargain, and like so many of the magic folk, she could not go back on it. And yet, just as she was fooled, she could fool in return.
My father will be looking for me.
And I'm sure he'll find you.
Get away from me! I hear him calling.
He said I was a coward. A coward would run.
So would a clever man.
Or one fleet of foot. Such soft skin. Too bad I can't take my time. Like I did with your little...
No!
Shut up!
Kill the man! Stop it! Rip his head off!
What?
Yulia! No!
Don't come near me. I'll kill you too.
Thus was the monster utterly destroyed, and it was believed by the only one who knew that grandmother Teeth had got the last part of her bounty. For none will ever know if it was his knife that killed poor Yulia, or the old witch's collection on a debt.
Now that you know how to find us, don't be a stranger. We have enough of those already. Tonight's story, Cautionary Tale, was written by Julie Hoverson. In tonight's production, Yulia was Tanja Milojevic of Lightning Bolt Theatre of the Mind at www.lightningbolttheatreofthemind.net. Nana was Julie Hoverson. Grandmother Teeth was Phenomena. Mama was Jacquie Duckworth. Papa was Glen Hallstrom. Ludie was Beverly Poole. The killer, Randolph, was Ayoub Khote. The mean boys were Terry Cooper and Reynaud LeBeouf. The other men were Michael Faigenblum and André Rauscher. Thanks to Manuel Materna for his help with recording. Additional voices by Reynaud LeBeouf, Mike Campbell, and Russell Gold. Music for this episode was from Yael Bat Shimon, available through her MySpace page or on Jamendo, and is used under a Creative Commons license. The cover art for this episode was by Brett Coulstock. Sound effects were found on soundsnap.com and sonomic.com. Sound and mastering was done by Julie Hoverson. The opening theme was by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. The opening credits featured Cole Hornaday, Reynaud LeBeouf, and Julie Hoverson. All persons, places, and events in this story were fictitious or used in a fictitious manner and are not meant to reflect any persons, places, or things, living, dead, or undead. Questions? Comments? We would love to hear from you. Contact us at 19nocturne@live.com. That's 19nocturne. Or check out our website at www.19nocturneboulevard.com. Or join us in the 19 Nocturne Boulevard forum over at audiodramatalk.com. This presentation is copyright 2010 to Julie Hoverson and Reality Productions.